right, ladies and gentlemen, you have waited all week.
Yeah, Boogie Page. Throwing it down for All Things BMX is ready. I know I am. Just hack the ATB Airways. Let's kick it. All Things BMX. It's a BMX show. Unlike the rest, if we need some info, they got the best. Like and subscribe, kick back and relax. And it's All Things BMX. It's a BMX show. Unlike the rest, if we need some info, they got the best. So like and subscribe, kick back and relax. All Things BMX is streaming to you. So post up on your couch, screencast to YouTube. It's gonna be fun, it will be a blast. You gotta do much but kick back and relax. They coming to you live from a studio, or they might be at the track, man, you never know. So don't go anywhere when my rhymes are done, cause the show's just starting, let's have some fun. I said it's All Things BMX, it's a BMX show. Unlike the rest, if you need some info, they got the best. So like and subscribe, kick back and relax. I said it's All Things BMX, it's a BMX show. Unlike the rest, if you need some info, they got the best. So like and subscribe, kick back and relax. All Things BMX got the boogeyman's back, so I wrote them this track to send some love back. JT, Melissa, Chris and Paul, DJ Damon, can I get it, entertain y'all? And I wonder who they'll have on the show as a guest. I bet someone good who's gonna impress. Guess I would just have to wait and see. Let's get the show going and start the party. Said it's All Things BMX, it's a BMX show. Unlike the rest, if you need some info, they got the best. Like and subscribe, kick back and relax. Said it's All Things BMX, it's a BMX show. Unlike the rest, if you need some info, they got the best. Like, subscribe, kick back and relax.
They're throwing some money in for the Frogtown hobbyists.
They are. Welcome.
Yes, hello.
Episode 163, Stompin Stu. We got Stu Thomsen hanging out with us this evening. You know what? If I started naming off all the titles he has won, we're going to be here till next Wednesday. So maybe
there's not that many.
Stu's going to be joining us on the Danger Snack satellite video feed, and we appreciate that. Brian, thank you for sponsoring that. Man, it's going to be a good one this evening. ATB Krew's coming to you from the Desoto studios here in the metropolis of Hartland, Michigan. It's a hot one out there today. Danger Snacks. And you know who got their Danger Snack on this weekend up there at South Park? It was Austin.
Oh, yeah?
On Saturday, he was in staging, took his little Danger Snack, went out there, took a 6-bike linked lead.
Okay.
Won the 41-45 expert class. The opening song is brought to you by the Boogeyman himself. If you guys haven't done it, make sure you give him a follow on Spotify, man. He's got a lot of other songs out there about BMX, and he's making things happen. And I think he's like 15 now, so that's pretty awesome. You guys don't forget you can support the show by sending stars if you're on Facebook. It's right below you guys right now. You can send stars, or you can head on over to our Buy Me a Coffee page and send some monetary support that way. The show's chat is brought to you by the good people at BMX Rocks Photography, and we got a good chat question this evening. Last week's was really, Thursdays, because we had 2 shows last week, right? Yes. So Thursday's chat question about having a vet pro for girls class, killed it. Definitely said yes, they need it, and there was good back and forth, like, well, what about this, what about that? And then Lindsay Long comes in and just drops a hammer and says, not everyone has to be pro to run vet. You know, you could be amateur and then decide you want to run pro. And like, great. So that was a good discussion there. The chat question for tonight: what is the one thing you would change at nationals? And this is going to open up a huge discussion. You guys make sure you guys put your answers in the chat. And got to say thanks to the people that support the show, because without those people that are supporting the show, we don't have the show. So 110 Nutrition, Answer BMX, Hot Shot BMX Racing. That's the good people of Robert and his bride over there, Cardoza, to join us on YouTube. On Two Wheels, Gate 9, Bombshell Racing, Mega Design, Dye Job Apparel. And we say thanks to you guys for supporting the show, because without you guys, we can't do it. So let's, you know what? Stu, when was the last national you were at?
Yikes. 2015, maybe.
All right.
I think I did 4 races that year.
Wow.
Okay.
I think I won them all, but it was fun. You know?
Yeah.
It's one of those itches I get every 5 or 7 years.
Well, there you go. Well, we want to welcome you to the show. We're so glad you're here with us. Thank you for taking the time. And we just want to start out with our very first question, which is usually tell us how you found the sport of BMX.
I found the sport of BMX through a flyer that I found at my local motorcycle shop that I used to hang out at and dream about getting motorcycles. And me and my buddy Wally, we'd ride from our house to the motorcycle shop and just hang out. We'd wash bikes and just, do kid things. We were probably 14, 15 years old. And up in the parts department up on top, where they have all the parts upstairs, there was a flyer on a little cork board, and it said, BMX racing, Bums United, track, Long Beach, bicycle motocross races, come and have fun. And so, we were always emulating bikes for motorcycle racing, or BMX as we called it, probably for 3-4 years prior to all that, just, jumping in the fields and building ramps and just having a good old time on our bikes, terrorizing, breaking Schwinn's and then getting new ones. And then Schwinn decided, like, hey, there's something going on here, and these guys keep breaking frames and we keep replacing them. So, but I didn't have my driver's license. I knew that. So, Wally's dad drove us in his camper, and we went down there, and I signed up, and off to the races we went. And I think I finished 5th. Got an extra trophy that was just laying around, and so that was it. And I got hooked after that because it was fun to line up against other guys. And year-wise, I don't know, 72, 3, 4, it all blends together.
Understandable. Wow.
I mean, there was definitely racing. Bicycle motocross has probably been going for maybe 2 years, maybe 3, before I really got going into it, because it was mainly up in the LA region. And then I would do some traveling up there after I got, more involved in it and found out where all the races were. Because, by talking to people, like, where are you from? Where are you from? I'm from here. Well, you don't have any racing going down there, but we race on Saturdays up here. You want to come and join. So, just, networked and met a lot of cool guys and did a lot of driving.
Yeah, I guess there were no cell phones and internet,
no,
and Google Maps and all that stuff.
No, you get some like you'll see advertisements in the local tabloid, Cycle News or some other newspaper style print magazine that went out to the motorcycle shops or bike shops, and that's kind of how it got out there.
Wow.
Someone would take out a $2 ad and be a postage stamp thing.
Yeah.
BMX, come on.
It's amazing we survived.
Well,
we actually got places.
You think about, like, now that you just go to social media, are they racing or not?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, exactly. Like back in the day, you just drove to the track, and if they weren't, they weren't.
They were, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Without the payphones, you can earn a couple extra bucks after the day because you always check the coin slot. There's always a dime or a quarter in there.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's funny.
Before we get going, just want to let everyone know, if you got questions for Stu, make sure you guys put them in the chat. Melissa will get them on here for you guys. You've been racing for quite a while now, on and off. And what were some of, during your amateur days that you remember, some of the teams you rode for? And once we wrap up with the teams, we'll kind of talk about some of the more memorable, maybe titles you won, races you won.
I think amateur-wise, I think the very first sponsor that I got was Dirt Masters, and it was owned by Bob Phillips, and he just had basically like number plates and plastic grips and gas tanks and fenders and really kooky things. But he had connections with, guys, through Redline with Lynn and Webco, other sponsors, that we would get product from, and I think that was my first true BMX bike was a Redline Squareback that we got through the team. And then I think I did a couple independent little companies. I think one of them might have been like Newport Design. They were a powder coating company, but I also think they dabbled in making some aluminum handlebars and seat posts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would get product, but I wouldn't necessarily be sponsored by them, but just would get product. But I think the major players, you know, from what I can always remember, it was, you know, Dirtmaster, Webco, DG, FMF, SE Racing, Redline, Puppy, and Retirement. And that's basically my career in a nutshell. But there were little things in between, you know, like when I think I was off of Puppy, I got invited to go to Paris for another one of their Versi races, and Motobacon said, "Hey, well, you can ride for us for the weekend." I'm like, "Okay." So they flew me over there and did a piss poor performance, but you know, still, I had fun. It was great.
And that was only for that event, right? That was in '86.
That event.
They just picked you up, sponsored you for that race, and that was a wrap.
Yeah. I don't even remember what bike I rode. It was probably my old Huffy bike. But we toured the Motobacon factory where they make mopeds, and I mean they were big time into. I mean their mopeds were like, you know, they were doing like 100 miles an hour. They were like full cafe racers and road racing stuff, and it was gnarly. And then they had this one BMX moped. And I don't know what the actual name of it was, but it was a 50cc or 49cc motor in a BMX frame, 20-inch wheels, and they gave me one. Thing weighed like 120 pounds. I had to ship it home. It cost me an arm and a leg, but you know, put it on the airplane and brought it home with me. And I think we did a photo shoot BMX Plus. We were down at Orange YBMX, and it was a kind of a head-to-head between Pete Lonkarovich and myself. I was riding the Motobacon bike with the motor, and Pete was just, you know, riding this straight BMX bike. And he'd always snap me out of the gate, but after a couple turns, the motor would crank up, and I would just start hauling ass. But it had cheesy parts on it. It had steel cotter 3-piece cranks, and they would bend, and you know, it was, you know, no suspension, and it's heavy, but it was a blast to ride.
Nice. I know shortly after that, you ended up doing the Stu Thomsen family cycle.
Yeah, I was actually, I started that shortly after, I would say in 1987-ish. I'd been bankrolling money and, you know, squirreling away cash. And, you know, luckily I married the right woman, and she was able to keep me, you know, straight and true. And so we bankrolled, took out some loans, got a bike shop going, and we ran it for about 8 years. Just really competitive in the market. There, I would say in about a 10-mile radius, there might have been 6 bike shops. So it was really competitive. One guy had 2 shops, so his buying power is a little bit more than mine. So I got a reputation of fixing bikes rather than selling brand new, because they would go to a shop and like, "Hey, fix my wheel." And then they would say, "No, we can't fix it, but we'll sell you a new one." And then they'd say, "Well, I can't afford it." So they come to my shop, and I'd spin it. And, yeah, a little wobble to it. And I'd say, "Yeah, I'll fix it. You know, I'll charge you this much." And so I had a good customer base for repairs.
And you ran that in, how long did you run that?
I would say, I thought it was 8 years, but if I add 88 and 8, that makes it 96. I started the sheriff's department in 94. Might have been earlier than that.
Yeah. Okay.
I know my son was born in 1988. I do remember him being a toddler running around the bike shop and stuff. So might have been before that. So could have been 87.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was your shop primarily just BMX, or did you have?
No, it was full. It was
Okay.
BMX, adult, road bikes, 10 speeds, cruisers, you name it, I'd sold it.
Two wheels.
And I think actually I was still sponsored by Huffy when I had the shop. So it would have been during the tail end of my Huffy career, because they were allowing me to purchase the Huffy Stu Thomsen bike and sell it at my bike shop.
Oh.
How crazy would that have been, being like a kid at the time walking in? It's like, yeah, I'm buying the guy's bike from the guy at his bike shop. Like that's had to make some memories. Let's see here. I know there was a couple questions in the chat. We're going to check in here shortly, but we kind of jumped out, and I wanted to make sure we covered like when you had turned pro, and these are some of the things like I heard when we were on the cruise together that I just sat there like, what? So you had the story about the van. You talked about the bike, your bike, like wherever you want to start. You could start with FMF. We can start with SE, because these were some stories that I had heard, and I know a lot of the people that are going to join us tonight, they haven't heard this. So,
well,
I'm like,
hopefully I could remember the story that I told. But turning pro was more or less, I think we did it like in the Valley Youth Center with Ernie and Suzanne with the NBA, and I think the entry feeder race was like $4 or $5, and we were getting these trophies that were maybe 6 inches tall with a little bicycle dude on it, and after 15 or 20 of those things, it's like, okay, that's boring. So we're like, hey, how much do these trophies cost? And hey, how about if we just race for our entry fee back? So the 16 and over expert class is what we I guess started the pros with 16 over expert, and basically we're just racing for our entry fee back. And then groups of guys, they would get a cold coffee can and they would go walk around the perimeter of the track, and they call it 50-50 raffle. 50% of the money would go to the 16 over expert purse, and the other half would go to the person who had the winning ticket. So it was kind of cool.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't a lot. It was like, you might make, $40, on a good Friday night race.
Yeah, hell, $40 is still a good payout right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And back then I could have got 40 gallons of gas.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You could have gone places.
Exactly.
That's funny.
When did the you go into the, so before I jump into that, because I've been bombarded with cautions before the show, so I've been trying to sort them out and put them in notes here. But yeah, like when you say you got Stu Thomsen coming on the show, a lot of people got questions. You guys put them in the chat, because I'm never going to remember them all.
That's all right. I mean, a lot of these questions will bring up memories that I may have forgotten.
Oh, sure.
Telling stories, I might bounce from one side of the room to the other, and it may sound different from the last time I told that same story, because sometimes I remember things differently.
Exactly. So you were saying you're 16 and over, that's where the money paid back. Was that how it morphed into the pro class then? Was from you guys doing the 16?
We tried to start an organization, Professional Riders Association, Pro. And we had a bunch of riders on it, myself, Scott, Bright Hop, Paul Furman, all the guys back in the late 70s. We're all saying, let's do this, let's start a union and let's race for money. How it got from $500 purses or $1,500 purses, I think just the skill level of the riders that were going to the nationals were far exceeding the expectations of the race promoters, and they thought that maybe they could put on a good show. So we start a pro class. Yeah, it's kind of murky waters trying to remember all that stuff.
But you guys,
there was a group of probably about 10 or 15 guys, and you can Google it. It'll pop up on somebody's webpage. The original guys in the pro class.
But you guys took it upon yourself to kind of manage this as the riders, as the pro class, like.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to do it like like there's a professional football's organization or a union or something where we wanted to be able to say, hey, we want the track to be longer. We want the jumps to be bigger. We want, a minimum of $1,000 purse, or we want to help promote the race before we come into town. We want to do, we wanted to have our hands into it rather than just, willy-nilly showing up in the track and hoping they had payout.
Yeah, bargaining.
But
that makes sense.
It never really gained any mustard or anything like that, so it just kind of fizzled away.
All right.
Caved in, and whoever sponsored the ABA or NBL or NBA, NBL, USBA, there was 5 or 6 different organizations going at the time. If they wanted to get the big name guys coming out, they had to put up the pro purse. We'd show up, and then that would attract the attention of the magazines, whether it be, BMX Weekly or BMX Plus or Super BMX or BMX Action. Those tend to bring more people to the races because there's coverage.
At this time when you were racing, how many you were you was referring to them as promoters, or were there like lots of organizations? I mean, we know right now we got USA BMX, and then we used to have USA or ABA and NBL. Were there more than that, like when you were racing?
Yeah,
okay.
There used to be like Florida BMX Association. There was the NBL. There was UBR, which I think was Northern California, United Bicycle Racers. Then there was another one that had 4-letter acronym to it, but I don't remember. Then there was the NBA. And then obviously it started with the ABA. But I mean, yeah, there were quite a few.
Wow.
And they just kind of whittled down. And
okay.
It became NBL and ABA, and then whatever happened there happened, and now it's all USA BMX, kind of a conglomerate. Monopoly.
Were these places people you were racing for, were they promoters, or were they like their own sanction, kind of like regional sanctions?
It was the regional sanction for that particular area.
Okay. Kind of reminds me, like you explaining it reminds me of like when you watch the old wrestling and they had like all the different around the country region. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Like Northern California had their own BMX organization. Like Florida, Florida had I think it was, they had a picture of a gator on it. It was FM BMX or something. Then NBL was, back east. So yeah, I mean, then ABA was, Arizona, and then they got bigger and it just spread like wildflower or wildfire, not wildflowers.
Right.
BMXL.
The chat room's blowing up, so we don't want to get too far behind.
That's okay.
So we're going to jump over. We're going to thank BMX Rocks for sponsoring the chat room. Melissa, it's busy already. It's fire over there.
Yeah, we're going to say hi to Brian Fell, Sean Gifford, Rick Carter, Damon Tewson's tuning in. Everybody's saying hi. Robert Cardoza is tuning in. Always supporting our show. GQ Videos over on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Low and Slows over there. Wes Burt, a name we haven't seen pop up in a while. Thanks for listening. Let's see who else I got. Martin Kennard, what's up, ATB? Great to see Stu on the show. Thank you. Ken Bellinger is also tuning in over on YouTube. Let's see who else I got. Jim Bosco, Tom Johnson are on our Facebook page. Noah Robinson says, what's up, homies? Rick's comment to your national question is 2-day nationals, 2 a month, all pro races.
Ooh, all right.
Mike Miranda says, "Hey ATB, please say hi to the Supreme Commander of BMX." Ryan Baumgartner says, "What's up, fam?" Tony Stillinger is also tuning in. He says that Stu and Evel Knievel were his childhood inspirations.
Well, I remember seeing a picture of Miranda riding his bike a couple days ago. He looked scared.
Well, he might have good reason. Martin wanted to know, Stu, how many fellow competitors have you arrested?
None.
None. Okay. So that probably answers Hollywood's question when he wants to know if anybody in the jail ever asked you for your autograph.
No.
They go hand in hand, right? Mark Darcy's also tuning in on Facebook. He says, "You rock, Stu." Ashley Turner shared that it was nice meeting Stu at the Spring Fling a few years ago and hearing the stories about him and my dad traveling to some of the races.
Oh, love the Spring Fling.
Yeah. Oh, Hollywood says you should eat some tacos. I think Brian Fell had said answer to the question was to eliminate the novices from the Nationals.
From the Nationals? Okay.
Which that's probably would be my vote too.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that.
Hi to Scott Lachansky. He's tuning in on Facebook. He says Stu needs to come to the Trail Jam 11 on August 5th.
Agreed.
At Austin Badger Park, which I believe is in Ohio, right?
Yep. Not far from Ray's.
August 5th, I might have a mountain bike race.
Yeah. Makes sense. Let's see. Richard McCavany says IBMXF, which I'm thinking was one of the other sanctions.
Yeah.
Haro, Florida tuned in with NPSA being another one. And Mark had mentioned BMXL earlier. Hi to Mo Collins. He says, "I wear red, white, and black race gear because of Stu."
Oh, thank you.
That's kind of nice. Oh, Riley Baumgartner says, "What's up, y'all?" Who am I missing? Oh, Richard McCavany would like to know if it's true that you put a new chain on at every race.
I would probably, I wouldn't discount that, but I don't recall it, but I very well may have, but I doubt it.
With that reputation you had anyways.
I don't know. I don't know. That's something I could have done, but I don't remember doing it.
Another question for you. Why did you never have a red line make him a longer top tube frame? This is Tom Johnson asking.
I think at the point in the what we would call it, the growth of the sport, maybe there just wasn't enough feedback from the riders, but some companies had longer tubes, but I don't really know why. Let's make our stem half an inch longer. Why not make the frame half an inch longer?
Right.
We'll make the stem longer. There's a lot of questions, but I mean, because of that, you can see where we're at now.
Yeah.
So it's just progression. Things move forward because of past.
Yes, they do. That is true. Jason Chang is saying aloha from Hawaii. Let's see. Scott Lachansky shared that he thinks you should get rid of mixed opens at the Nationals. Damon wanted me to mention that. He's right. I did skip that the first time. That you, as many of us have witnessed, have quite the cannon of an arm when it comes to dodgeball.
Dude, I was on the receiving end of it.
Well, I had a sore shoulder too, and I was afraid I was going to blow it out by throwing it, because I just don't throw like I used to. But
right.
After a while, whether it was the Caribbean punch or just the endorphins kicking in, but it was pretty good. I just started throwing differently, more of a
That's right.
sidearm than
That
overhead.
that competitive
You know,
side
we can
definitely
talk about
was there.
the throwing. I want to talk about his vertical.
Yeah, that's true.
Because,
too.
like, whether it was Caribbean Punch or let's just call it was open bar everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
I had you dead to rights, and I whipped the sidearm, and that thing, like, your vertical leap was as high as a hockey wall. So if anyone has ever been to a hockey game, just picture the red railing. Stu straight had a vertical right above. I'm like, because I whipped it, and I'm like about waist high. I'm like, I'm good. I got what the and then I'm like, I turned, I'm like, did you just see that? And I was like, bam, Stu just hit me. I'm like, I'm all right with Stu. It's all right.
There's a picture in I don't know if it was Action or Plus. It was in the very back thing. I think it like said Hot Shot, so it might have been Action. I don't know who it was, but there was a competition that Redline was putting on, the Redline's BMX games or something like that. It was early on in the like 80, 81, 82 maybe, and they had like a wheelie competition and a bunny hop competition and sprint and just all kinds of weird things you do on the bicycle. And there's a picture of me. We set the bunny hop bar like you were saying at the hockey red line wall. I mean, this was like super, super high. And it shows me jumping over it, and I'm just like clearing it by a few inches. And it's like, I'm like, holy crap, I used to jump pretty high.
Still do.
Yeah.
And there's a kid in the background. His eyeballs are like, what the hell am I looking at? You know?
I saw that quite often. A couple more here to get caught up. Let's see. John, is it Huttlin? He says, well, could be. He says, see you at Frogtown.
Hutland.
Okay.
The Hutland family, Bonnie Hutland, John Hutland.
That's right.
Very nice.
Florida.
Mike Melvin's tuning in. We appreciate it. Nick DeSanti says to tell Stu Skyway Nick says hello. Sorry, I lost my place here. Mark Scott would be curious to hear your thoughts on tracks today versus tracks back in the day.
Well, thanks. That was one of the questions we had.
Well, should I answer it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead.
Well, I mean,
you're covering the bases.
They're different. That's all I can say. They're not as motocross as what we grew up doing. I think yes, there are some, at speed, they can be challenging. I know that when I go to a racetrack and I practice, I don't manual very well, if at all. There seems to be not too many lips on the jumps. They're just kind of rolling. So it's hard to get air without like really having to pull up, which clips helps you do that because you can yank up on the bottom of the pedals and for your feet, you can lift the whole bike up. Try that on flats. It's a little bit harder. Feet down, going around corners, high, low, high, elbows out. It's more choreographed, I think, today.
If someone was,
but getting back to the practice session, I'll go out and I'll practice, and then I'll go and get up for the first moto, and next thing you know, you're not going practice speed, you're going race speed. So all that timing that I thought I had down was thrown out the window. Jumps and, it's a train wreck.
Do you think for the rate, like for a racer, because you've raced across quite a few decades, are the tracks of yesterday harder or the tracks of today harder? And like take the equipment into the equation of that too. So back in the day, like we did a show, Stu, and we were it was with Harry, and we were looking at pictures during the show, and we saw you on like I think like an 18.5-inch top two. It's like, what is going on right there? It's so that. Like exactly. So like that, take that in the equation, and today's equipment, do you feel one is harder than the other, and which one would that be?
I think for being not on it on a regular basis, trying to come back and be competitive, it would be harder for me to adapt to the current tracks.
Okay.
Whereas, like these last few vintage style races, Frogtown, Dirty Fest, Texas Classic BMX Days, they're super short tracks. There's longer straightaways, there's smaller obstacles, not super banked turns, more flat style turns, more where you'd need a knobby tire. Current, and this is just my synopsis of it, that the current geometry of today's race bikes wouldn't really be very good on the old tracks of yesteryear.
Okay.
Because you'd need more rake in your fork, maybe a little bit lower bottom bracket, or a shorter rear triangle, because the turns, off cambers and flat turns and stuff like that. And if you go around a flat corner, or not a flat corner, but a corner that doesn't have a big berm on it, and you have a super steep fork angle, and you go to turn, and the front end's going to knife under, especially if the dirt's soft, and it doesn't have soil pack on it, or whatever they call that, dirt glue.
Good.
Dirt glue.
That's a good point with the longer bikes.
But I think that the bikes are different, so they're gonna act differently on their different tracks.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. The track's gonna change, the bike's gonna change, or vice versa. I don't know which one's the horse and which one's the cart, but
yeah, who knows?
Right.
I mean, it's all for the better. I mean, look, BMX is still around.
Right.
Yeah, fair point. Tom Johnson was wondering if you would ever do a national series with USA BMX and chase a nag number.
No.
Straight up. Nope. Ashley Turner also said that her dad wanted to know if you'd ever been interrogated in Canada. I feel like that's a story lead in.
Yeah, I do believe we were interrogated in Canada.
Okay. Can confirm. Let's see. Ronnie Anderson is tuning in over on YouTube. Thank you. We appreciate that. And then Jeff Murray says, hey, Stu, and Emily Schaefer is saying hi to everyone from Facebook land. So thank you. And if anybody else has any, hopefully I didn't miss any questions, but if there are any more that come up, just put them in the chat.
Awesome. And this is going to be a perfect segue, because this was, I threw this in myself. I wanted to know, like, your feelings on the Texas Classic BMX Days, the Dirty Fest. Like I've seen you at them. I've seen you, last year at Frogtown. Like, how big of an impact do you think this is going to make in the sport? And like, how awesome is it to have the fact, like, you can chase plates in the sanction for it?
Well, that's something the plate chasing thing, and I think they just try to do that so they can get more people to, I don't know, people want to chase plates, I guess. I just want to have fun on a bike. But I think it's a good movement. It's a good movement to bring back the nostalgia of BMX, how it used to be. Because there's a lot of old guys out there that, when I go to some of these events, they're 45, 50 years old now. And when they first met me, they were, 14, 15 years old. And one of the riders, amongst many that they looked up to, and, in the pro classes.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, I never thought that I would be, that guy that, people looked up to. I just enjoyed riding bikes, and it was fun, and I made a good living at it, made some money, made a lot of friends, and traveled the world extensively. And it was just a good old time. And these guys now, they're coming back and they want to ride, but they don't necessarily want to go out to these nationals and spend 3 days and umpteen hours and
Yeah.
just for maybe 2.5 minutes of track time.
Right. No, that's a really good point.
So you get the old school stuff because that's what they remember.
Yeah.
They've been out of it for 35 years or more, and they just remember, knobby tires and loose dirt and making berm shots and
Right.
and just having a blast. And so why not bring that back? I mean, they have it in motocross, vintage nationals. They have, old time motocross racers riding old time motocross bikes. They have that. So there's no reason why they can't do it in BMX. And I think it's a good movement. And I think it's gonna go for a few years, and then who knows where it'll go, if it'll just die down and disappear. You just have to have the right people to keep pushing it forward.
Sure.
You need that 14-year-old kid who now has a advertising company, or he's got the skill set to promote something like that. So he's got contacts with sponsorships, and you get your insurance through the USA BMX, so you can draw some of the local kids to the track, and they can still chase points, and you can still get more people. So it's just, I think it's good for the sport. It also brings back the fact that a lot of these people just don't know where BMX came from. How long has it been around? Who are some of the old school players in it?
Mm-hmm. How long was your pro career? When did you officially retire?
I
mean, I know you still.
I think it was like October or November of 1987.
Okay.
I think my goal was to race till I was 30, and I would have been 30 in 1988.
So if you're willing to share, I had one of the questions in the chat that William Prince had put in there. What was one of your biggest payout amounts?
Would have been back-to-back weekends. I think it was one of the Jag World Championships, followed by the next weekend at kind of a multi-sanctioned race, Knott's Berry Farm, where I got two back-to-back $5,000 paychecks.
Wow.
So in a 8-day period, I made 10 grand.
That's
I think that's
So
I think
a
that'd
lot of
still be the
DoorDashing.
highest. That'd still be the highest payout in today's world.
Okay.
And that was one of the memorable ones.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Well earned, I'm sure. Mike Melvin was also wondering which of the 3 classic racetracks that we were just talking about, the Frogtown, the Dirty Fest, or the Texas, which one is your favorite?
Unfortunately, I was unable to ride at the Texas Classic BMX.
Oh, okay.
I was kind of nursing a sore back, and I didn't want to aggravate it, so I didn't get to race it. That track, it looked like it was fun, but it was like, God, I don't know, maybe 22 seconds long. It was super short.
That sounds fast.
I think out of the 2 that I competed on and 3 overall that I looked at, I think Dirty Fest might have been a little more fun. It had higher speed.
Nice.
Overall, higher speed. Frogtown was pretty quick, but again, going fast. I mean, I was spun out as fast as I could go. Of course, I'm not really, going to worry about changing my gear to figure something out.
Right. You just ride to ride.
People ask me, what's your gearing them? I don't know, whatever came out of the box.
Yeah, whatever's on the list.
The only thing I changed were grips and pedals. Everything else was box stock.
Yeah.
Didn't change the gearing, nothing like that.
It's more fun that way.
Yeah.
So our friends at Haro, Florida are wondering if you ride or race with your seat way high or low like a 16X.
I would probably say somewhere in the middle.
In the middle, yeah. I could see that. And then the last question I wanted to interject with is from our buddy Tank. That with all of your successes and who and how far you've come, how do you manage to stay so humble?
Good parental upbringing.
Yeah, I like that.
Family values. Just I don't know. I just treat people how I would want to be treated.
Well, the golden rule, right?
Can confirm. Can confirm too.
Yeah. Knows how to have a good time.
My parents were a big role, So just I don't know. I always relate to the fan base, because without the fans, I mean, who are we?
True. That is true.
And it's funny you say that, because one of the gentlemen I used to work with a few years back at Verizon, when he saw that you were on the show tonight, like we both left Verizon, went our own different ways, but we still stay in contact. And he messaged and he's like, my first bike was a red Stu Thomsen, right? And I'm like, so they all knew, like, when I worked at Verizon, I raced, right? But we weren't doing the show back then. And I was like, Zach, this guy is still like super rad, loves his fans, really humble. Right. And I was like, not bragging. I got to be on a cruise with him not that long ago. He's like, yeah, I totally saw your pictures. But he was like, that's super cool that, like, because he gets he knows how small the sport is too. And I was like, no, the guy, he's like, the guy's awesome. He still appreciates all his fans. And even when, you're fanboying out and you can barely ask for an autograph, like, it's still, you're still cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember there's the video of us racing in Paris at the Bercy, the very first one, and I came across the finish line and literally I ran across the finish line and I pull over to the side to catch my breath, and the crowd was above me, hanging over the railing, and they're pushing programs in my face, and I'm just like grabbing them, signing them, just doing my thing, because not only is it good for the sponsorship, it's good for the fans.
Yeah,
it's good for me too, because it makes me feel good that I'm worthy of them asking for my autograph. And then like, obviously, like when I was sponsored with Redline, Lynn was, it was a business. I was his pawn, and the better I did, the better his product did. And you learn to be that salesman, and you don't want to piss off your customers. It reflects, shit runs downhill.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think at this point, and I know you talked about stories and remembering everything that's happened in the past and stuff, but what do you think is the most memorable win? Is there one that just stands out, like, wow, I worked my ass off to get there, and standing on the podium, and it just is stuck with you?
I think the most memorable one, and it goes way back to the Yamaha Gold Cup.
Yeah.
Because you see the race, and I was relatively new to the sport back then, and I got really lucky at that race because it was a big crash. I was like buried mid-pack. It was a big crash, and I worked my way up, and I was able to work on using my stamina that I had. And luckily it was 2 laps for us too, so I was able to just moto on by, and with all the people in the background, and the cheering, and the bands, and everyone screaming and yelling. And then when I looked back, when I finally saw the video of it, I was like, holy crap, I was hauling ass, and I was riding a freaking Schwinn Stingray with 5.5-inch cranks on it. It was crazy.
Wow.
Is it?
I think Perry told me, and Perry Kramer told me, and I at first I forgot all about it, but apparently I broke my frame like the day before or something like that. So we were at the bike shop swapping out bike parts, and changing one Schwinn Stingray for another, and it was crazy. But that's one of the more memorable ones.
I love it. Do you think this video is it? What?
That's the race.
Racing
I don't
through?
know what
Look at where they look
there somewhere.
This was the track right here.
Yeah.
And was it like a 50 gate start? Like,
Yeah, I was like a lot of people. And
wow.
we did 4 tracks around the infield of the LA Coliseum.
Through water and hay and
Yep.
they make
all
it rain
the
on you
jumps
too?
were made out of wood, and
Oh my gosh.
but if there had not been a crash, then who knows what would have happened.
The banana seats are killing me.
Career.
Why can't BMX bikes have banana seats like that now? My ass would feel a lot better riding the bike. I get the whole point is not sitting down, but to me, a bike equals sitting down. I don't quite get the.
No, I know. Well, I mean, you used to sit down when you go around corners. That's why our seats were so high, because you used it as a pivot
Yeah,
to help turn.
that and a foot out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
Well, I mean, look, when I'm announcing races and somebody comes into a corner with a foot down, there isn't anyone within at least a 3-mile zip code that doesn't know somebody's coming in with a foot down, because man, it gets I get a little bit loud. This was
Anyway.
So this was the big payday. This race right here.
Well, I wouldn't say a payday. It was
I'm sorry, you're right. It was one of your bigger moments.
my introduction to
Memorable.
Winnie.
Yes.
And I'd won a couple little weekend series that were, going on at some of the local tracks, and I'd been around and I'd won some races, and but this was like one of the most big, the biggest ones.
I mean, if anyone knows, like LA Coliseum is massive. So for like them,
and it's it's the Olympic style track. What
Yeah.
is it, 440 or whatever they call it? We did 2 laps around that thing. So
That's
that's
amazing.
crazy.
but I'm not sure where
No idea.
where in that video, even if they show the main event, it's probably down towards the end. I think ours was the last race, anyways. Yeah, see, that's one of the qualifying races there.
Was it? Hang on, I can.
They had 3 races to qualify for the final.
Okay. Wow. Things have changed.
Well, thanks to our friends over at Fab BMX, Bart
yeah.
Zhang has been on the show,
Yeah,
bringing it in.
but I failed to qualify in the first one, so I had to drive down to San Diego to hit the second one, and then I won that one to put me into the final show at the LA Coliseum.
I mean, just a race,
yeah.
just a race there is crazy. Like, to think about, I mean, the arenas they're racing in for the Olympics right now are not that big.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. So did you have anything else in there? I know it's blowing up.
No. I was just going to change the subject, but I think you were too, so go ahead.
Right. Were you going on the boat?
Nope. I was going to
Take it
go
away,
before
then.
that. So you mentioned retirement.
Yes.
How did you know what to do when your BMX pro career was over?
I didn't.
So
No, I was at that time in 1988. I think the bicycle industry in a whole was kind of crashing.
yes.
People's sponsorship was down. Money wasn't being put in for teams. The cycling industry in a whole was just kind of in a recession. So I put my feelers out, and I was thinking about maybe, doing some kind of product design for, a company or something like that. And GT had a job opening in their juvenile bike line division.
Okay.
I went and interviewed for that. I don't know, for some reason they didn't think I was worth the position, so
Wow.
I didn't get it. So I'm like, you know what? I put my heart and soul into this sport, and I'm not getting any love back. So I just kind of washed my hands of it and stepped away.
Okay.
Did the bike shop, and then when the wife and I decided to sell the bike shop, I mean that pro was coming around a little bit. I was doing mountain bike racing. I was doing road bike racing. I never stopped riding. I just changed my focus on what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I did odd jobs. I worked at a fitness center selling memberships to people that would come in and like how much does it cost to join? And I'd tell them how much it cost and monthly, and and that was kind of working on a commission, and that sucked. I wasn't really a good salesman. And then I worked for a one of those large, big box warehouse stores, comparable to a Costco or
Sure.
a Sam's Club or something like that. Again, in the membership, where you go around and go to the businesses and say, this is the best thing since sliced bread. You need to come here. You can get all your cigarettes and all your booze and everything you need for your business, because they were more geared towards businesses at the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then I went to work for one of my buddies, Craig Kundig, at his bike shop in Riverside, kind of running the juvenile end of it, BMX stuff. Did that, and then I just really had I gotta do something. So I need a good paycheck. I need a good pension. I need a retirement package. What can I do? And then law enforcement was kind of intrigued me, and I decided to go that path.
And how long were you a police officer?
24 years.
Wow. And just stayed in uniform, or did you get into any special detective or?
No, I only went up. I only promoted up to sergeant. Took the lieutenant's test a couple times, but it just didn't. It was towards the end of my tenure there with the department. I wasn't really. I was only kind of wanting to doing it for kind of pad the pension check a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
But I was happy, being a patrol sergeant. But yeah, I was wore a uniform the whole time.
Wow. Well, thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Very appreciated. I thought about forensic science there for a split second, and then I went healthcare route. But it's a fascinating world to me. So,
yeah. But I liked it. For me, it was fun because I liked helping people.
Yeah, I could see that.
People don't people don't dial 911 or call the police department because they want you to come over and
say hi.
Say hi and come to your barbecue.
Right.
And
no, they don't.
Birthday candles. You go during the worst time of people's lives to their houses.
100%.
And
yep.
And then during the downtime, you're like, I gotta, drive around the streets and try to enforce traffic violations and stuff like that. And I probably gave more warnings than I did write citations.
Yeah.
Because it's like nobody likes getting a ticket.
Right.
Unless they're blatantly dumb and stupid and endangering people, then we'll take care of business. But in the most of the time, it's like, hey, dude, did you know that you did this or you did that, or it could be a fishing expedition,
right,
looking for something else.
Yeah,
you have to have the legal reason to get to that point.
Sure.
So that's how you arrest the bad guys, because they're not going to come up and say, hey, I just robbed the bank, arrest me, or I just stole this car, go ahead and arrest me. It's like, you don't know until like, hey, I'm going to run this plate because his brake light's out. Oh, hey, that car's stolen.
Right. I can't even imagine. You just never know where your night's going to go.
Yeah, exactly.
We happen to be connoisseurs of live PD on our weekends, and if I had $1 for every time we're like, oh my gosh, if that guy would have just shut his mouth, he might have gotten to just drive away. But no, he's got to act like an a-hole, and he's off to jail.
Yeah, well, that's because you're the YouTube lawyer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that too. Oh yeah. Yeah, that'd be another moneymaker. Yeah.
That's great.
I know my rights. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway.
You know your rights. Exercise your Fifth Amendment right now. Just shut up.
Yeah.
Right now, just do it.
Tell those to the judge, because I'm just the messenger.
Yep, just doing my job.
Not out here making the laws, just interpreting them and enforcing them.
I don't make them, I just enforce them.
Yep.
So here's your segue. Emily would like to know if there's any chance of a belly flop win on the cruise in September.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have much of a belly.
That's true.
True.
And if there's anything like that that big dude that was on last
Oh,
year.
my gosh. Half the pool was out.
Well,
Yeah, but
I don't have an entourage.
Yeah,
I don't really be
well.
rubbing me down with baby oil or nothing like that.
I forgot about that.
I can
yeah.
get you.
I tried to get in on that contest,
Okay.
but I walked up there. I had a drink in my hand, and they said you can't have had any drinks.
Oh, really? No
Yeah,
drinks
so he
at all?
said, No, you
Per se.
You're not supposed to have been drinking alcohol.
Don't actively be drinking.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I'm not really drinking. Throw it away.
Oh, this
But
empty
no,
cup?
he said, and so I didn't get to do it.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, that's why I
maybe
wasn't in it
redemption
either.
this year. Yeah.
But you know what? I don't care. I'll do it.
Yeah. It's you know.
We'll make him a cape.
Right. Right.
We'll have Sean make him a cape.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna share my grills with him though. It's fucking gross.
Right.
We could have a cape made for him, just because that dude had remember he had a cape when he walked
He had a
in,
cape,
and a
yeah.
cigar, and he had the whole cigar. And everything.
My gosh.
Mo, you better get on this right now.
Right.
Better get
well,
on
he
it.
should be watching. He said he was going to.
Was he? I haven't seen him jump in yet.
They're doing a pre-cruise, getting everything ready for us.
Yeah. Aren't they on the
that's
same
right.
ship? I think that
Yeah,
you guys are
same
going
ship.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have
I
you?
had him take a picture of the exercise bikes because I need to bring my shoes so I can do a couple spin classes.
Oh yeah. Oh
Have
that yeah. That'd
So
be good information.
he took a picture, and they're basic, SPD pedal clips.
Okay.
Have you saw that new ship that Royal Caribbean's got, the Icon of the Sea?
I've seen a couple videos of it. Ever since you get on these cruises now, every week I get another video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's what hooked me in was after our cruise that we were on. Like
Yeah.
all of a sudden I started getting those videos from Royal Caribbean, and they're like, "We're building the biggest and greatest ship," and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
"All right, your cinematography's
better.
got me hooked already. Let me see." But it's wow. And then I was asking Mo about that. I'm like, "So when's the Mighty Mo's cruise going to be on that bad boy right there?" He's like,
Yeah.
3 years. They got like a thing you walk on the edge, Stu. Like you literally walk on the edge of the boat, on top of the RC of the boat, and you're just out over the water. I mean, you have a harness on, but I'm like, I ain't doing that shit. No way. So we're talking about the cruise, and I wanted to ask you, and for those tuning in that didn't know, Stu, he was on the cruise last year, the Mighty Mo's BMX cruise. What was your favorite event on that cruise?
I had a good time on the toga party.
Yeah. That was probably
That
a
was fun.
highlight.
It was.
I think this year is a 70s party?
Yeah, it's a 70s
really?
party.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not that outgoing. I'm more of a kind of.
I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all.
That's the Caribbean punch.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I had to. Because that was fun because that was after the
Everything.
Yeah.
big highlight show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
kind of
Your
like,
presentation,
I
yes.
wasn't really stressed out about it, but after that, I was like, I'm free.
Let loose.
Cut loose a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, Melissa and I totally misunderstood the toga thing. We showed up in our.
We didn't misunderstand. You just went your own rogue
I
way.
did.
We understood the assignment.
I had a fucking cowboy hat and grills and a goddamn
Yeah.
chain. Well, actually, the chain's back there on the dummy.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
It was.
I'm trying to get a cool 70s outfit, but I don't want to, buy it on Amazon,
Dude,
like-
you need an afro. Like you need
well,
Stu. You need a big ass afro with a pick in the front of it. You need yes.
I need to. I like to go. I need to find some crazy, nostalgic. What do you call it? Like, not Goodwill, but a store that just sells 70s clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That,
so-
and they're like they're from the 70s.
yeah, you want to look for a vintage shop.
Yeah, that's it. Vintage.
Yep. And then you'll have a much
But
better chance.
there weren't too many big, 6'2", 200-pound disco dudes out there. So
Right.
finding a costume that will fit might be difficult.
Yeah, the leisure suit.
Yeah.
Well, it might be a Google search on Amazon for some cheesy 70s costume, bell bottoms and a vest or something.
Oh yeah,
it'll be a good time.
And a afro.
Lots of jewelry.
like the big chest fro, like Mike Myers did in Austin Powers.
Right. Goldfinger there.
Oh, yeah. Tom Johnson says Eva Knievel suited. It's already been done.
Oh yeah.
It's been done, man.
Or some platforms. Yeah.
If you put Stu in some platforms, he'd be like 7 feet tall.
Be ducking through all the doors.
That would remind me of the trip that we took to Japan.
Oh, I bet you felt like a gentle giant there.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there was some pictures you'd see of me in the crowd and all the short people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, their average height isn't anywhere near.
Or vertically challenged people.
Yes, there you go.
You're all right.
Oh my goodness.
If we can find some platforms though with fish tanks in them.
Yeah.
What size shoe you wear? What size shoe are you?
I'm a 14.
All right, we're gonna put the call out. We need a size 14 platform with fish tanks in them, man.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I don't think you'll have a hard time finding them. There's quite the movement going on now for large feet shoes like that.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think was your favorite race bike?
Good question.
Sorry, I'm pulling it back. You don't have one?
No. I performed my job adequately with every bike that I rode.
Oh, that's a wonderful answer. Okay, now, but you're more into mountain biking today, right?
Yes.
And what kind of drew you maybe out of the BMX world and into the mountain biking world?
Well, BMX for me is an individual sport. Okay, I'm not big into team sports.
Yeah.
So for me, mountain biking is still that individual sport. My performance is based on how much effort I want to put into my training and all that gobbledygook that goes along with it. So I like the challenge to, give my all for hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on the length of the race. There's no one to blame for my performance other than me.
Yeah.
And I just like the challenge, physically to finish.
That's great.
The race.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. Are we ready?
For what?
Trivia?
Oh yeah. I'm ready.
And then we're gonna go into the rapid fire.
Okay.
Are we?
Definitely.
All right. Okay. All right.
Okay, Stu, don't answer this question because you mentioned it earlier today. All right, so for trivia winner tonight, I got our sticker pack, and I got an adult size bombshell T-shirt. Thanks to our sponsors. There's a little bit of the bottom of it there. So Stu was kind of talking a little bit about some of his travels in the beginning of our conversation, and I would like to know, what overseas city did Stu travel to in order to compete in the Moto BMX event in 1986?
Solid question, Melissa.
So what overseas city, there's your first clue, did Stu travel to in order to compete in the Moto BMX event in 86? So
I like it.
Let me clear my chat so
good?
I can,
All right, we're ready to rock and roll into the lightning round.
Oh, and I want city and country.
City and country. It's not Boston and Tom Brady either.
Right.
It's Boston. All right, we're going to go to our lightning round. And ladies and gentlemen, lightning round is brought to you by our good friends at brandedpopups.com. The mission at brandedpopups.com is to provide any fan or branded supporter with the opportunity to purchase their very own pop-up style canopy with their favorite company. And look, you guys, if you are one of those sponsored riders or co-sponsored riders or supported riders, this is the way to buy that branded canopy to match the people that you're out there supporting right now. So check them out, brandedpopups.com. We got some good ones. Now, Stu, remember, can't sit and think about these ones. You just got to fire them off, all right?
Yeah, they're not meant to be tough questions.
We got some softballs, though. We're going to toss you some softballs, all right? So, all right.
All right, first question. What is the last movie you liked so much you watched it twice?
Gladiator.
Good choice.
I watched it this morning. I watched that in 300. All right. Favorite sport other than BMX?
Good Lord. Sport? Supercross.
Okay.
Oh, good.
One place you would like to travel to that you've actually never been?
Alaska.
That's good.
Okay.
All right. What's the last thing that you Googled?
I don't know. I can't remember.
It was.
Oh wait, I put it in the cart too. Shit. I don't know. I'd have to open up my Amazon to figure out what I put in a cart.
You were shopping, anyways.
I was shopping for something.
Nice.
I Googled it. I can't remember what it is.
All right.
What's the favorite thing you like to do on a date with your wife?
Have a quiet evening.
Nice.
Told you, isn't that weird?
What's that?
I said I've told you that's not that weird. Just to have a quiet evening.
That's all we do.
Okay, you're right. All right, you're right. One sport that you
in a good Cabernet.
Yeah. All right. All right.
one sport that you'd never try.
Lacrosse.
Okay.
That is a wicked sport, by the way.
Yeah. Your favorite television show?
I don't have one, but I got hooked on an older series called Castle.
Oh yeah,
Good one.
I've watched that. It's pretty good.
What superpower and or talent do you wish you could have?
Stretch Armstrong.
Okay. I like
I don't know
that.
why I said that, but you said it.
It's all right. That's what we want. The first thing that comes to your head. Do you have a preference for aluminum, carbon, or chromoly?
No.
No.
No. I don't. A carbon sounds good.
Okay.
I mean, my mountain bike's carbon. So
There you go. Okay, that makes sense.
I'll go with whatever region I'm in that the most people are voting for.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would that advice be?
I lived a good life. I don't know. I don't have any regrets.
That's the best answer you could probably
That
give.
is odd. That's the first.
Yeah, I don't.
I like that. Great answer.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe kind of like maybe how Back to the Future, where you had the sports betting magazine. Figure out how to make some money in the.
Okay.
I know I would buy some Microsoft.
That'd buy Amazon.
Yeah, I'd buy Amazon. Yeah, something. What would you say is your favorite guilty pleasure?
Ice cream.
I like it.
What do you think the most annoyingest thing about yourself?
Lack of growing a beard.
I'm with you on that struggle.
I like it. Do you have a favorite band? And if so, what is it?
I don't have a favorite band.
Okay.
Do
That's
you have a
tough
favorite
one.
artist?
Artist. Don't have one.
Okay. Your favorite type of cookie?
Oatmeal, raisin, chocolate chip, coconut, M&M.
Hasn't met a cookie. He doesn't
everything.
like
So that one end of the buffet on the cruise then.
Yeah.
the kitchen sink. What is one thing that people are generally surprised to find out about you, like a hidden talent?
God. I wish I had a hidden talent.
Maybe it's still hidden.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know.
All right.
Maybe someone can enlighten me.
There you go.
Your favorite Supercross rider?
Eli Tomac.
Okay.
Good answer. Good goddamn
Are you a peanut butter connoisseur?
I like peanut butter, but I'm not a connoisseur of it.
Do you have a preference over crunchy or creamy?
Creamy.
Okay.
All right, your last question. Your favorite Wednesday night live streaming BMX podcast show?
Oh, that would be All Things BMX.
Yay! Yes, it would.
Oh, man. All right. All right, we're going to go check back in with Melissa. Did we get a winner? I know you're busy, so if you have to check, go ahead.
I think so.
Did you?
Yep, I got one person who, speaking of, got the assignment. Mr. Kenny Hunter came up with the correct answer, the city and the country, which was Paris, France. So, Mr. Hunter, if you could message the show or me your home address, I will, or where you'd like me to send this anyways, I will make sure it gets out to you sometime this year.
All right. And we're going to talk about next week's guest. We have Mr. Greg Hill hanging out with us. So it's going to be a good show. We're going to talk some more old school racing and when he's going to get on the cruise. So that'll be a good show. And you guys make sure you tune in next week as we bring Mr. Greg Hill in. I did.
I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
It's so what it is.
It's fine. You're fine.
I changed everything around on here.
Yeah.
And there it is. Now here it is. There it is. That quick.
You got it.
So we got a winner.
Yes.
Good. All right, Stu. I want to hand it over to you and let you kind of take it out for the evening and give any shout outs and thanks. We appreciate you joining us this evening, and we look forward. And really want you to join us again for Moto 2.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I know we barely got anywhere.
Okay.
In the whole scheme of things, we barely got anywhere. We scratched the surface, but we'd love to have you back on. And we're going to hand it over to you right now for thanks and shout outs.
Holy crap. Thanks and shout outs. Thanks to everybody who has supported me throughout my career and beyond. Whether you're a fan, whether you gave me a discount on a bike part, I give a shout out to Craig Kundig at Cyclery USA for helping me keep my passion of cycling by giving me a break on some of the super stupid expensive mountain bike parts out there. I'm working with a potential new sponsor. What is it? I think it's called, I think it's called 7 Points CBD. Working on some stuff there. Hopefully we'll be able to get some more product from them. What I've been given and trying out, it's helped for some aches and pains. Let's see who else. Big shout out to my lovely wife Tanya for putting up with me for all these years. Shout out to my son Jacob for being an outstanding citizen and a good kid. Never really gave me any problems at all. Gosh. All the, I don't know, everybody.
That's
great.
It's perfect,
Thanks
man.
so many people.
I know it. It's hard.
It's tough. I don't have anybody to send me a manual starting gate, so I can't thank them for any product.
I know some people. Let's
see. Shout out to Toby Henderson for bringing BMX Action magazine back, or the BMX Action, what is it called now? Corporation, nonprofit thing, trying to keep that alive and going, and how he's involved with all BMX in general. Stepping it up with the making product that is brought over from, say, road bike or mountain biking, bringing our larger axles, bigger bottom brackets, bigger, better, more advanced. So him and Jill, they're doing a great job. Todd Huffman for putting on Frogtown. Thanks to Mike Miranda for setting up Dirty Fast. Rusty Roberts and I think it was Rusty Dial and a couple of guys at Texas for putting that show. Get that movement going. Get the old school BMX going. Let people come and have some fun. Not worry about chasing points and crap like that. Come race for a day and go home. Enjoy a barbecue and a band and just have fun.
Yeah, that's great. And watch out for you on the mountain bike trails.
Yeah. Big shout out to Mighty Mo for putting on this cruise, Mighty Mo's BMX cruise. You know, I mean, when I was the guest of honor last year, you know, I didn't hesitate at all to put my deposit down for the next one because it was such a blast.
It really was.
It was so much fun.
Everyone should go.
They should, honestly.
I mean, Anita has got the price down. I mean, you can't beat that price.
Agreed. Yeah.
You know, and the activities and the way it's catered and just how we're pampered, it's just amazing.
And all the cake. It's a lot of cake.
Oh God, there's probably still cake on that ship.
I'm sure there is. Yeah,
that
it was.
Cake never went away.
Yeah, the both of them put a finishing touch on everything. It was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ran out of shout outs.
That was great.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us,
Yes.
and don't go anywhere. I got 5-7 minutes. I got to chat with you after we get off the air, and I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. Everyone that's listening now, watching now, or that's going to be listening in their cars and automobiles later or at home on their podcast replays. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We really, really appreciate it. And as always, thank you guys for watching and listening. And a big shout out to our guest, Stu. You guys, good night. God bless.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And you stay classy, BMX.
I got moto. I got moto.